You're listening to the audio-only version of Cocktails with Cav, the popular video cast streamed live only on X. Follow us here on Spotify or on X at Cav Literature.
Oh, happy Thursday, everybody. Oh, we've had a heck of a week. It's been hot as heck here in New Orleans. Getting there anyway. Telling you, the pool's ready. Oh, well, I tell you what, we have an incredible show for you tonight. You're going to want to stick around. Oh, please follow us. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a great Cocktails with Cav show. And please like and share the stream so more people can get to know these incredible indie authors, entertainers, and artists. Well, tonight's guest is an incredible crime fiction author out of Pasadena, California. Oh, I tell you what, it's just his book due out to launch today, pre-order. Just dark humor, great mystery, great story. You're going to want to find out about it, so stick around. As always, a little bit of quick housekeeping. Please consider supporting the show. Cheap cup of coffee is all it takes at our Buy Me a Coffee link, and go a long way to help us keep bringing you all these great indie creators. And as always, check out our merch page. You might pick you up some good swag, and it's a great way to support this show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, I hope you got a good cocktail like me. I'm ready. Let's sit back, relax, and get to know this incredible author, Andrew Miller. Oh, Andrew, my friend, I'm so glad you could finally make it here on Cocktails with Cav, buddy. I've been aching to have you on the show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Great to be here. I saw that you and Vern had a tropical shirt contest, and I tried to bring my tropical shirt game. I got my cat, John Wayne, right here. John Wayne also he answers to Duke, and then I have Calamity Jane. Right here.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm glad you weren't in the competition. You'd have probably beat both of us that night. Oh, golly, I tell you what, Andrew, I'm so excited. I know your book has just launched.
Yeah.
It's an incredible piece of work in dark humor, crime fiction, Namaste Mart Confidential, and we're just, I've been aching to have you on the show, buddy.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, well, and I tell you what, I appreciate you taking the time, man. And please, by all means, look, we love to get the audience to get to know the creators, because it's just important to see where they're coming from and how they got to where they made this great piece of work. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, Andrew?
Well, I'm Andrew Miller. I live in Pasadena, California. I'm originally from Ohio, but I've lived out here for quite a while. I kind of always growing up in Ohio, I loved crime fiction, and I always loved the crime fiction that was more focused in LA, and it sort of became like that like mysterious dark promised land that I didn't know anybody that lived in California. I didn't have any kind of connections, but I sort of like knew on some, instinctual level that I was going to move here someday. You mentioned the title of my book. That's a lot of crime fiction fans will recognize that's a reference to, there's a lot of crime stories that have confidential in the title, but the big one for me was LA Confidential by my hero, James Ellroy. And I came out here. I live in Pasadena. I've published quite a few short stories. I have one novella in an anthology called LA Stories, which is with my friends, the writers Alex Cizak and Scotch Rutherford. And those are three interconnecting stories set in LA in 1981. I love LA history. I love all the little details about what happened on this dark alley or behind this restaurant someday. I just love looking up that stuff and just kind of working that into my fiction. And then I had a short story in Jacked, which was the crime fiction anthology that Vern Smith edited. And that was just a really great experience. I had a story called Samurai 81. It was another one that was, I went back to the early 80s for that one. It was about it was about a secret society of Japanese American samurais in the 80s in LA. And that story was it was in the honor roll in the Mysterious Press anthology in 2023, and so that was really cool. It was just a really positive experience working with Vern, working with Gary Anderson, the managing editor of Run Amok Books, and their editor Krista Windsheimer. And I started on a novel, and the reason I'm here today is for my novel, which is coming out from Run Amok Books.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's creating quite a little bit of a stir. Have you always wanted to write, strictly crime fiction when you started, or?
Pretty much, yeah. It's kind of like a genre for me that it just sort of encompasses all of the drama and even the humor and the comedy of life and love. You can put everything in a crime fiction story. There's like a famous quote from the author Joyce Carol Oates about James Ellroy, where she says he's the American Dostoevsky, like those big Russian novels where you get everything. He always found a way to do that, and because he was someone that was such a big influence to me, it was just that was the genre for me. There have been a few examples here and there, like I've done some minor film work and a few essays here and there where I kind of stray outside of that genre, but that's more like when I meet someone that's making a film and I like the director or the person that brought me on, and I want to have kind of like a friendly working relationship with them and do what I can to help them out. But it's more about I'm here to service their vision because they're really the ones that are kind of calling the shots in the final one. But as far as what I do for myself, yeah, it's definitely crime fiction. Crime fiction, like in the style that the author Dashiell Hammett is known to be the guy that the founder of. Not really Agatha Christie mysteries. There might be a mystery, but like for example in Vern's book Scratching the Flint, there's no mystery. It's a crime story, but you find out right away who the bad guy is. It's more just about the world, the environment, the characters, and hopefully in the case of my book, hopefully you get some laughs out of it too.
Right, and I think that's part of the allure that drew me to the work was, excuse me, but like you said, a lot of your work centers in LA, like New Orleans, it's that storied crime place, but the development you made of the characters and the dark humor that's associated with the story is just, to me, it was, like I said, big fan of the work, because it develops those characters, it develops that story in a way that I think a lot of people can associate with.
yeah, for sure. It's also it's set in 2013, and that's basically the personalities of these two main characters. The story it's about two unlicensed private detectives who maintain their day jobs at a hippie grocery store called Namaste Mart. And it's kind of, there you go. You can see the excellent work done by my friend Scotch Rutherford on the cover art. I admire his work so much. You get kind of some guidelines about what you're supposed to do with covers sometimes.
Right.
I'm not a big expert. I've never designed a cover in my life, but I've kind of heard, and one of the rules is that you don't make the cover too busy. You don't make it too complicated as far as what you're supposed to look at. And my friend Scotch, he's a big fan of just throwing all the rules out the window. As you can see, it's just he just made it so colorful. There's such an elaborate scene. There's so many little details. Like, I don't know if your viewers can see right now, but you got to put the Run Amok logo on the cover, and there's a tiny little billboard in the back right there. There's just so many cool details that he put in there. I'm so happy.
I think it so speaks to the LA lifestyle too.
For sure,
it's bright now.
Yeah, it's kind of sleek and colorful, but kind of grimy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I tell you, being a host of Cocktails with Cav, buddy, has its perks. That's all I'm telling you. But man, it's just really, I'm excited. And look, let's get into talking about the story and the work. I gotta refill my cocktail for this because
me too, man. I got a Negroni, so I'm gonna
awesome. Well, look, when we come back, Andrew, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We'll come right back in a few seconds, but and we'll get into talking full bore on Namaste Mart Confidential, buddy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick mid-roll break to remind you to please go check out my Linktree link at the top of my X profile, where you can subscribe for free, and that way you'll never miss a great Cocktails with Cav episode or any of the other great offerings of the Cocktails with Cav franchise. I tell you what, look, it really has a lot of great information on it. You'll always have the latest Cocktails with Cav episode at the top, as well as the link to our audio only version of our great shows on Spotify. And of course, there's the ways to support the show and all of our other social media links, so you can find us where you are and get all the great Cocktail with Cav offerings. So again, please consider heading over to my Linktree, scrolling right across the top there, Linktree/Reed Kavanaugh. You can't miss me. Get on over there, subscribe for free today. Oh, Andrew, thanks so much, buddy. I needed to refill after all this. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, well, buddy, look, I tell you what, let's talk full bore about this work, because I really am excited about your launch that just occurred. The pre-order's going to be up, Namaste Mart Confidential, and just give us a good background about the story, because like I said, I'm way ahead of everybody else as the grand host of Cocktails with Cav. But
well, a big element is I brought up earlier is, you can see it's Los Angeles in 2013, and so for one big important element is that it's kind of a love letter to LA from that period, and that really wasn't that long ago. But I wanted people to really think, with regard to the setting, about how much has changed since then, at that time, and just look at it as just like such a more innocent time. My friend Alex Cizek, who I mentioned earlier, he brought up how the past 10 years, more things had changed than in any decade in which he'd been alive. And so I really kind of delved into the setting in that regard. And I put in, a good friend of mine who's he's a veteran. He's a guy from Queens who came to LA to pursue his career of stand-up comedy. And this guy, he's kind of changed things around now, but back then he was kind of a tough guy. He was kind of a guy like, I heard you serve. What branch did you serve in, George?
The Army.
Okay. This guy was in the Navy, and he was kind of like the stereotypical drunken sailor, pretty much. And so many people have told me, what a character he is, and how good he would be as a character in a movie or a story. And I've used quite a few little things here and there that were based on him, but this is my friend, who is called Richie in the book, and then Adam, who is the personality of Adam, is based on me. They're private detectives, and because they don't have license, because they're kind of misfits. Vern referred to this as slacker noir, which I kind of thought that was a pretty good. I'd never heard that term before. There's a lot of People
I'm
will
gonna have to steal that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. People will take, a certain subset of noir and they'll come up with new versions. And I thought that was a pretty good one and pretty fitting for this. But they don't always get steady work, so they have to keep their jobs at this fashionable spiritual grocery store called Namaste Mart. But they get word that a woman who works at a upscale lingerie chain, which is based off of a real place that exists in LA, goes missing. And her employer, who's just this very dedicated woman, she wants her missing employee to be found. It's a troubled woman, and she knows that these two guys, they have a unique talent for finding people. And so this book is about them trying to find out what happened to this woman, delving into her past, her private life. They discover that she was from a polygamous Mormon compound, that was where she was born. And then they find out that one of her ex-boyfriends was in the Armenian mob, which is a very prevalent organized crime organization that's still in LA today. And they just have this crazy odyssey where they find out so many personal things about themselves, so many things about where they need to change their reckless behavior, and just wanting to find out what happened to her leads them on this just wild journey, which is full of very, very not widely known to outsiders, but kind of inside baseball details about LA. And they end up they're all over LA. They end up in Mexico, and it's just all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of real life characters and fact and fiction. And it's a wild book.
Right. And how did you end up associated with Run Amok Books? Because I know they have a great catalog of work going on Run Amok Books. How did you end up with that?
Well, it was when I mentioned that story, Samurai 81. That was an example. Sometimes when I write a story or a book or get a book idea, very often I think about where is this going to go? What organization could I send this to? But I wrote that story, Samurai 81, entirely for myself. It was just something that I thought was good, but I had no idea if anybody else would like it. And I sent it cold to, I just happened to come across the Jacked, the guidelines for submissions to the Jacked anthology. I sent it to Vern, not knowing him, and he got back to me right away, just telling me how much he liked it. And we just kind of had a really positive working relationship. It's just the people that Run Amok, they care about what's on the page. It's not, your social media presence. It's not, it's just what the story is and how the story comes out in the end. And that's just such a pleasure to deal with. And so, we had that come out, and then I sort of found out afterwards that Gary and Vern, that they were kind of wondering if anybody in this anthology might have a book. And they asked me, do you have a book? And I happened to be working on this, and I sent it to them. And now it just came out yesterday.
There you go. Well, it is runamuckcrime.com. Just like I said, great catalog of works.
Yeah.
And yeah, we actually had Vern on the show after he won the crime fiction indie novel of the year.
Much deserved.
Yeah, and it was Scratching the Flint. Excellent work. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing how well your book does, because it is, like I said, a great piece of work. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't gotten to know Andrew on X, his screen name's right there for you, Andy Miller 1313. Please go give him a follow. As you can tell by the interview, fun guy to talk to, fun guy to interact with, but also his incredible work that's just released, Namaste Mart Confidential, and it's just, I'm telling you, you're gonna want to take a great look at it, and we'll have the links for Amazon, as well as Andrew on his on the descriptions of the show. And really, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get to know Andrew and get to know this work. So anything else we missed, Andrew, man? I'll tell you what, because
we covered it. It's a great show you have here, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. Really flattered. I'll take the compliment. I don't get many on this end, you know. It's we just drink. That's but ladies and gentlemen, again, please give Andrew a follow on X, Andy Miller 1313, and follow his work, Namaste Mart Confidential. Andrew, thanks so much for taking the time to come be with us, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thank you, George. I really appreciate it too. Thank you.
All right, man. Cheers from New Orleans and California.
Cheers.